That is definitely a downside to being in a poly relationship. A lot of the social functions where a plus one is quite normal doesn't work anymore, and so we sometimes have to figure out like, okay, who's gonna be the plus one to this person's event?
Well, I'm like, oh no, I'm not invited to the straight wedding. Oh no.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Cule Kids, the Slasian podcast of Southern Northern California. I'm Michael.
I'm Eric.
Hi, I'm Milty. JC.
I'm JJ.
Today we'll be talking about a topic that inspired us to start this podcast in the first place, which is our thoughts on being in a poly relationship. So I'll kick us off by saying one of the things that I think is unique about our situation that I like, and that's the fact that we're able to sort of split the burdens and the happiness amongst all of us. So something that I used to think when I heard about people in either open or multiple partner relationships is how do they have time for everyone? But now that I'm in one, I'm realizing that it's actually the opposite, where being one of many makes it so that I don't have to be present all the time, and I don't have to have all the burden of a single partner. And that makes it easier for me to be able to be okay, I can't join you this time, but I know that there's three other people that can help sort of support you in the ways that I can't at the moment.
Yeah, I think to echo what you're saying, I do really like the fact that I get so many different kinds of support from everyone in different ways. One thing that I feel a lot more strongly when, say, we go to parties or places where I feel like I'm being judged, I don't care as much about feeling like I need to prove myself to anyone in a social setting. It kind of feels like a suit of armor in some sense, a social suit of armor to be at the end of the day, I have so many people that value and love me. I don't need to be clawing around looking for other kinds of people to validate me or make me feel better about myself. I don't need that.
It's an interesting thing that you mentioned, the party setting. I do feel like a lot of the time I can feel like my best self, or I can feel more relaxed because I know that, I can rely on you guys. It's similar to how I would feel like if it were a really tight-knit friend group, but beyond that.
But then what's the difference between poly and a really, really tight friend group?
That has sex with
each other. Yeah. Right?
I do ask myself all the time. I ask myself, what is the difference? It's kind of been a thing, throughout, kind of my dating, life, I guess. I start dating someone and I'm okay, do I actually want to date this person or do I just want to be friends? And I always have a hard time figuring that out. And, I honestly still don't have, a clear answer for that. I think I don't have any way to specifically say, this is friends versus this is something else. I don't think it's so easy to put it, just a clean, break.
Another thing I like about being poly is that it's very easy to find ways to do different kinds of dating. I have a lot of interests that don't necessarily interlap with one of you guys, but I know it overlaps with someone else, and so we can go on dates to do that particular thing. And then I basically get all of the dating scenarios I want satisfied. And so that's really nice.
It's interesting that you say that because I hear a lot in terms of modern dating where you tend to have a lot of different dates with a lot of different people and you're sort of forced to select one person at the end of the day. And in our case, it feels like you don't necessarily have to do that. We can dedicate our time to each other individually and also as a group.
That kind of reminds me of this kind of philosophy I have that's I don't think that there's one perfect person for any one person. I don't believe in soulmates, and I believe more that there's a lot of different kind of connections that we can have with people, and it's unrealistic to expect one single person to be able to meet you in every single level.
That's kind of how I've felt ever since I kind of learned about what being in a poly relationship is like even when I was learning about open relationships too, right? The whole reason why I was really open to this idea was I just saw really good examples of people in open relationships. You know, at first I would have never thought that like, this was for me. Like if you met me 5 years ago, I'm like, oh, monogamy is like, what I want, right? That's my future. But after seeing just positive examples of people kind of like communicating, to their partners about like their needs and how to like fulfill them and but still like coming back to each other and building a life together, like I thought like, oh, that's actually something that's really unique and something that's actually really fulfilling.
You used to think you were monogamous before?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I had no
Really?
idea. I didn't know this.
How many of us did not, like, we always were like, yeah, I was not going to be monogamous. Like, I think most of us probably were all there at some point of our lives, right?
Okay, like
You can tell.
no. Okay, so I feel like this is what happened. I watched this show called Queer as Folk very early in life, and there is a character that I resonated with like a lot that was very anti-monogamy. And I think that really characterized my relationships throughout my youth and the rest of my life. And to some degree, I did think maybe it somewhat had maybe this is too strong of a word, but a poisonous effect on the idea of monogamy.
I used to romanticize the idea of monogamy a lot, to the extent where I was like, I'm going to find my one partner, and that's who I'm going to be with for like my entire life. And it put a lot of sort of like undue pressure, I guess. Like I didn't date anyone until my senior year of college, and it was a lot of like I just haven't found the perfect person yet. And it was also a lot of like insecurity in myself where I didn't feel like comfortable enough to approach anybody probably. But I think it was someone that I like met through a Discord channel where they were starting to branch out and they were dating this married couple, and he was like, I just want to be with all the people that I love. And something about like that phrase made me realize like, oh, actually like maybe what I'm like fantasizing is not actually what I really want in the end.
Monogamy does sound appealing. It is very romantic, right? It's just like, oh, you're soulmates, you're like deeply connected with one person, and then you live and you die together and you blah blah blah.
But we can all live and die together too, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, it's the same things that I'm fantasizing and idealizing are still true. It's just now all four of you are like held to that.
It's like, if I'm going, you're going with me.
Okay, I do want to bring up one thing that I do think is a downside of being poly, is that just time management is a big issue. I know, Michael, you brought up saying, hey, you could just drop off and other folks will take care and step in. But one problem with that, though, is you can find yourself not having the time for one person that you wish you could have to have a deeper relationship with. Like, for example, me and JC, we live together, so we get a lot of intimate time together. I get a lot of intimate time with Eric, and then I feel bad for saying this, but you, Milty, and you, Michael, we don't get as much time to go together to do stuff. It is one of the things where I just feel maybe there is some amount of like, oh, we're not developing the deepest relationship that we could have, that we might want or desire.
It almost feels like the relationship doesn't get to the next level until you start living together, and then it becomes a whole other thing.
Yeah, that's something that I think about. It's like because we don't live together, I think right now our relationship is like a little bit easier in that we get space from each other. So like we don't like probably get on each other's nerves as much. We don't have to deal with like the little mundane things as much. A lot of times when we hang out, it's like we make plans to do something together, and like that's like the fun part of dating. But we don't necessarily have to do like the hard things all the time. But at the same time, I think I feel confident in that, like, if we do have to deal with the hard things, I think we'd be able to do it. Like, I don't have any doubts which I hope that's true. But I feel confident.
I do feel like that this room aside, other spaces at our place might not be up to the cleanliness standard that some people I look at their places and they're like, oh wow, it's so clean. It's like so nice. And some people don't clean.
But I think like if we did live together, then that actually would be less of an issue, and that like we can like help each other with those kind of things.
Yeah, it's the, with multiple people able to, it's like just easier to always have that going
That kind
on.
of, yeah, that
It's like
activity.
It's like a co-op.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a co-op where everyone dates each other and has sex with each
So normal.
Yes, that's right. So,
Yes.
okay, I want to ask you all, what are your favorite dates that you've gone on in pairs? So, I think for me and you, JC, I really enjoy our bougie dinners together.
Mhm.
Right, that's one thing. I think that's like one of my favorite date things to do with you. And watching sci-fi TV shows.
Is that a date thing? Watching sci-fi TV shows?
It is if it's like 6 hours.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I think more of it, it's like what sort of connection do I have with each person more so than like what kind of dates I like to go on with that person.
Okay.
I remember when we first started talking, like we talked about music a lot, and we still like that's I think a really big connection between us that I think I'm the most comfortable like talking to you about like, oh, I'm excited about this sort of like musical thing, and then I think with Milty we have like a lot of like common interests in like media, like whether it be like video games or like TV shows, like animation, which I think. And magic, I think that was like a big one when we first started talking to. It was like we both like magic.
I'm trying to think back about your question too, about like our favorite dates. And I would say that like I can think of like some specific examples of dates that I liked when I gone out with everyone. Like for example, I really liked like Cat Cafe with Eric. That was cute. I really like showing like the places that I grew up with Michael, kind of checking out that spa that had some kind of like interesting vibes there.
Interesting vibes is a good way of putting it.
Yeah, some interesting vibes. And then
We can have a whole episode about that.
And then yeah, just like having dinners and stuff, like nice romantic dinners where we could chat and stuff with JJ. Yeah, like I can think of like very specific dates. And that's something that I actually do wish that we did do more of, like maybe individual dates with each other more often. I feel like that would be a good way to spend more time.
But those things are fun when we do them all together already.
Yeah.
So I think actually now that you mentioned it, it becomes even harder to carve out what's something that would be fun to be just the two of us. That wouldn't just be more fun with everybody else involved. That actually narrows it quite a bit, or that makes the target a lot harder to hit.
Yeah, that's one thing that I struggle with a bit too, which is like, yes, I could like isolate some time to spend with an individual person, but it's like the chances of everyone else being free is pretty high. So it's like, well, we could just all do it together, and then no one would feel left out, or but it does like make it harder to build that deep relationship with that one person. But like maybe the overall like growth of everyone's time together is also still offsetting it. I don't know.
Well, that's an interesting question. Can you build a deep relationship with multiple people in a group setting at all? Do you think that's possible?
I think so, in that, like, I think about, like, you know, like in high school and you have your group of friends, and even, like, if within your group of friends, you'll have, like, maybe a stronger relationship with, or you're, like, a specific relationship with some, like, this one friend, and a different relationship with this other friend, but we're all still, like, in the same, like, friend group. And then we have, like, the shared experiences of that, but also, like, the individual experiences of, like, maybe, like, you know, you have your DMs you're with like conversations with a specific friend within the group and stuff like that.
I had a tight knit group of friends. I also hung out with them one on one quite often, as well as in a group. At least from my perspective, the one on ones were where the relationships deepened for a lot of the time. Obviously, hanging out as a group is a lot of fun. It's certainly a lot of fun, but just being able to talk openly one on one with these groups in that tight knit circle is still how the relationships deepen. And usually it would be over like a drink or something like that, which helps. But I realize I can't go drinking with like you guys. Maybe milk tea.
Yeah, you could.
Okay, let's go drinking sometime. Let's go drinking sometime.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. Just you and me.
Mm.
Okay. You guys don't want to drink, right?
I don't care.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to talk about some things that I think that we do that like a normal relationship probably wouldn't have to, that I think are like actually really cool tricks that we have to make things work. And then one of them is this thing that I was very adamant about, which is after year 1, no gifts.
Yeah.
Because like there's too many holidays and there's too many people. And so if we go through 1 year of just like holidays and birthdays, we're all going to end up with like 40 different random things that we had to have bought each other and have somewhere to put. And I'm like, no, this is not sustainable.
Yeah. I think that was like was it like I got you a gift and then I think it was your birthday, because your birthday is like the last one in the year, and then I was like, okay, Christmas is coming up, I'm gonna do this Christmas and then I'm done. Like I like getting gifts, it's fun for me. Like I like
You like buying people gifts.
I like buying people gifts because then I'm like, oh, what can I get them? Like, what's gonna be like surprising for them? What shows them that like I'm attentive and stuff like that. So I like getting gifts, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and then it's like 4 times that, and I just like I can't do this. Like I also brought it up to you, right? That like I was like I don't want to do it anymore. Like for all of our sakes, I think.
Yeah, you do give good gifts. I don't, so I feel bad in that it was not as much of a burden. Sorry.
Well, I think it's like for you, you would always be like, "Oh, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want?" So like, I feel like that kind of saved you that too.
Exactly, yeah. Just ask them what they want. It's fine. That's perfect. I think another interesting thing that we do is that we have a Cule favorite stock, and that we use that to help manage all the differences between us in terms of what we like, what we dislike, our favorite things, because it's really hard to remember all of that for all of you guys.
Yeah, it makes it easy for if I feel like I want boba or something, I could just like buy it for myself, and then I'll also know like, oh, I know exactly like the sugar levels and the ice levels that everyone else would want, like the flavors and stuff.
Yeah.
And then going back to birthdays, like it's always we have like our favorite cakes on there. So then it's like, oh, what kind of cake should we get?
Yeah, I remember I was trying to get a cake for someone else that's not in the Cule, and I was like, why don't I have like their information somewhere so I can look it up and know what they want?
It's also a good way to keep track of like the shows or movies that we wanted to watch together and stuff. Slowly making our way through it.
That list is so big. That list is so long.
Yeah. Sorry, this is gonna be off this, but just like we need to update it since we all saw
The big one?
Wedding Banquet.
We can actually start using it. We stopped using it for a little bit.
Because there's too many things on it.
Did you guys like the wedding banquet?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
You liked it? Okay. You actually
I
liked
really
it.
liked it.
Oh, you really liked it? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I thought
Yeah,
there were
good.
some questionable decisions on like how the characters acted, but overall I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love. Wait, I want to talk about this now.
What?
Let's talk about Wedding Banquet right now.
Save it for the next episode.
Okay, fine.
We can talk about it after we're done recording.
Alright, okay, fine.
Let us know if you want to hear all of our thoughts on the wedding banquet.
Yes.
The original 1993 one with Ang Lee, not the remake.
Not the Bon Yang one. Not the Bon.
So another thing that I think that we do is kind of unique to us is also the Cule log, right? What it is it's a tool that we use to kind of keep track of different partners that we would have or different like encounters that we'd have, mainly for health reasons, so we can kind of keep track of like, you know, when's the last time we've done things and like then the dates of when we got tested and everything. And it's kind of a way to make sure that like, you know, if someone does get like an STI, then we'll be able to kind of backtrack and like know like who we'll be able to contact or something like that. And that's definitely something that I don't think other people do necessarily, right?
Yeah, it's like spicy contact tracing from the COVID era.
Oh yeah. And it's also an outlet for compersion. You know, if we hear someone had a really good time, like we all like thumbs up it. Or,
yeah.
It's like, yeah, good for you.
Oh yeah, the thing that Giovanni says,
Giovanni.
compersion.
Oh, conversion.
Yes, compersion. That's the term.
That's my joke.
Oh my god, I just got that. I cannot.
Wait, what?
I
From
can't.
Pokemon. Come Persian.
Like, come, Persian.
Because I was teaching
Go,
Milty
Persian.
what compersion was. 'Cause he didn't
Oh,
know.
because that's what you thought it was?
No, that's a joke
my-
that.
That was the joke that I said.
yeah.
Because he was like, what is that? And I was like, oh, it's what Giovanni
Yeah, I recently.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's right. I recently learned that word too. Yeah, I think that's really cool because that's something that I get from like hearing about you guys. Even when it's you guys like spending time together, I get a sense of compersion, which is like the sense of like happiness from seeing other people happy, right? And so yeah, that's another reason why I think it'd be nice that we all found some more time to have like individual dates with each other too.
Yeah.
I just think it's really fun to see the log, just to see what happens. It's like when I get a ping from the log, I'm like, woo.
I think it also like the fact that it sort of like enforces openness and like sharing
Agreed.
helps like eliminate the sort of like chances of jealousy and being like, oh, I wonder if they're doing anything behind my back, or like just like suspicion, because like everything's out on the table and like everyone's talking openly about it, and it just makes it so that like we feel like we're being truthful and open with each other.
And to be fair, I still feel some amount of jealousy. I'm probably the most jealous person in this in the Cule, right?
I'm probably a close second.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You don't show it as much as I feel like I show it, but I have noticed that it's gotten less. That my jealousy has become less pronounced over the past year or something. I used to get pretty jealous when I find out about like one of you guys having a hot encounter or something, but I don't know what changed.
You started having a lot of hot encounters yourself.
I guess, yeah. But I don't want it to be like a game of one-upsmanship or something. It's like, oh, you had this hot thing, now I need to have this hot thing, and it needs to be even better with twice as many people or something like that.
An indeterminate number
An
of people.
indeterminate number of people. It's the okay. There's still some amount of jealousy on my end, which I don't think it's become problematic, but I don't know how none of you like how do you deal with your jealousy then?
It's definitely something I struggled more at the beginning with in terms of compartmentalizing. Like, one of my partners is having an encounter with someone, and it's not because like I'm not satisfying their needs, or it's like because like I'm not good enough. It's just like the opportunity arose, or like it's something that we've like if the opportunity arises, like you kind of go for it, generally speaking. And so like I realized that it doesn't say anything about like our relationship, and then being able to sort of experience like their joy vicariously through them, and sort of like learning about like the details and stuff became kind of fun, as opposed to sort of feeding a sense of like jealousy and being like, oh, like why didn't you just like do it with me instead, right?
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Just when you're preoccupied with feeling happy for someone, there's less room for you to feel jealous about it. I think that makes sense. Maybe that's what happened with me.
Yeah, I would say that's kind of like the same for me. Like, I would sometimes get like pangs of jealousy where it's like, yeah, I agree. It's like, oh, I was free, I was available, like I could have been there too. But I think just like I think that after going on these one-on-one dates, and then just the sense of like, oh, I'm feeling happy of like just being with this person, then I'm just imagining that like, if one of you guys have an encounter with just like another person one-on-one, or with someone outside the Cule, then I just remember my sense of happiness of just being on a one-on-one date, and it's like I'm just imagining, oh, this is what they're feeling right now, and I'm happy that they're feeling this. And I think that helped for me.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why I think like a poly like relationship works so well for me is that like I'm very Like I'm like, if this makes you happy, I want you to go for it. Like, and it's just like it brings me joy to know that you are doing something that you enjoy. So yeah, it's like, I'm always like, even if it doesn't involve me, like, that's not the point. Like, I just want you guys to be happy. So whatever way that may be, I'm always like, yeah, I like, this makes you happy, I want you to go for it.
Also, like, sharing is caring. Like, you'd be like, oh, I hooked up with this one person. It's like, what do you think? You know?
Yeah.
You...
And now we know the details about.
yeah. And be able to share that and, like, talk about that and, like, kind of, like, it's internal little gossip and stuff. It's kind of fun. I don't know.
It is fun. Of course, when we have to organize things, we have a calendar or a calendar.
Yeah, the calendar.
The calendar. With the calendar, it's been really great, actually, organizationally, to know, oh, this is what we're doing. These are the people that are going to be at this thing, and then we can also just talk about the events that are coming up and seeing how we're feeling, who wants to go, who doesn't want to go. I really, really like it. I think through a poly relationship, I've learned to be better at organizing my schedules, and Ooh, this actually leads to one other downside, which is that if one of us gets invited to one thing, it's harder to say, oh, well, instead of a +1, I need a +4 to this. So that is definitely a downside to being in a poly relationship. A lot of the social functions where a +1 is quite normal doesn't work anymore. And so we sometimes have to figure out, like, okay, who's going to be the +1 to this person's event?
Well, I'm like, oh no, I'm not invited to this straight wedding. Oh no.
Yeah, I would say for the most part, it usually works. Yeah, there's not too many things with like a hard cap that has been an obstacle for much.
Yeah,
But
But if, say, you don't know that person that well, and we're not out to being poly to them, and I want to bring everyone, I have to contact the party organizer and say, oh, by the way, it's not just going to be JC, it's going to be JC, Milty, Eric, and Michael. Is that okay? And then they said,
Who are these people?
yeah. A lot of times they'll say, who? Or I don't know them that well. Why are you
in relationships?
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's always a little bit of awkwardness sometimes about trying to get the whole gang to come along. And then something I always worry about us is that we do end up with, I guess, main character group syndrome, that we kind of end up accidentally all just hanging amongst ourselves and not socializing with everyone else. Sometimes I worry about this. And I hope if we do this that people call us out on it so that we don't feel as insular.
You know, I actually well, for me specifically, I feel like I'm the opposite. I feel like for me, like when we go to parties together, sometimes I do this a little too much, where I'm just like, I don't know you people. I'm gonna talk to everybody else but you guys, and I sometimes catch myself, and then sometimes I'm just like, oh wait, I haven't talked to you all night, which I feel kind of bad about.
Okay. Good that you do that. I think I can catch myself, if I'm feeling more introverted that day, I might end up just talking to you guys at whatever function we're at or something and not socializing with everybody.
But I think that's good that like we always have our like safety net.
Yeah. Of course,
I agree.
But I just don't want people to think that we're just like, and just this hard shell that people can't penetrate in terms of.
I don't think anyone thinks that.
No.
Okay.
I think in terms of like black cat at partyness, it's like me, then you, maybe you, JJ, and then Milty, and then JC.
No, it's us too, because everyone's like, oh, are you guys dating?
Yes.
Which is yes.
Yes.
I can go that way, but I do try to make an effort to be, not so insulated when I go to these things with all of y'all. Not that I don't love you all.
One other downside is trying to get a taxi or ordering dim sum.
Oh my god, the dim sum's the worst.
Because everything's either in 3 or 4, and
And
so
5 can't It doesn't work with either 3 or 4. Oh my goodness, that's right.
You always gotta get an XL.
Yeah.
Yeah, Uber XL.
Yeah, amusement park rides are difficult because like
On-
roller coaster seats are usually 4s or whatever. Yeah.
Getting seats on a plane where we're always like,
yeah.
all right, we get 3 and then 1 and 2, and then the poor person that's gonna be in the middle in the back.
Yeah.
One good thing is that we all fit in a car.
We do. Oh yeah, that's right.
like,
We can all
not a
carpool
good
somewhere.
thing, but like at least we fit in a car together.
Yes.
Ooh, we can do the star thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I still don't actually know how to do it. Like I just put my hands out and hope that you all know what you're doing.
we need to do that more often. We need to get a repertoire of group poses that we can do.
It's true.
Pose
I have a Pinterest saved.
Oh really?
Poses.
Yeah. Remember how I was telling you about for your birthday, like one activity I was thinking of is just doing like family photos. JCPenney family photos. I have a Pinterest saved of poses of 5 people that we could like try to copy for the thing.
My version is just like pictures of K-pop groups that have 5 members in it.
That works.
Which we kind of used
Which we kind of use.
for a photo shoot, unreleased photo shoot,
Yeah.
Stay
unreleased
tuned.
content. Yeah.
Maybe. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in this week. Hopefully that answered some of your questions about how a relationship works. Make sure to leave any comments down below if there's anything else that you want us to cover, or if there's anything that came up as a result that you're interested in. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at The Cule Kids, and you're officially a cool kid for listening. Bye. Hello, and welcome back to the no.
You don't have to keep clapping. One clap is sufficient.
No, you want to keep clapping.
What, you do?
Yeah.
It's easier to find like where to start.
And correction.
So clap.